Good morning, YouTube. Wanted to cover something. Now that I've been getting more involved in 410 shotguns, and I've got the 410 Marlin, and I'd like to maybe get another one. I decided because sometimes 410 ammo is actually up here hard to get. One shop will carry it, but they won't carry everything. They won't carry a huge variety. And there's another shop closer to me that you've got to beg them to carry anything 410 at all. And sometimes the only thing they carry is 410, 3-inch, and personal defense loads. They don't carry really any like 2.5-inch game loads. Which for some of us that have the older 410s, or just some people that want to, you don't necessarily need a 3-inch 410 to kill squirrels or to kill small game. So I decided to get this. And this is a survival loader. It's 410, and it's from the xringusa.com. And this, because Lee used to make a Lee loader in 410, and they're very highly sought after. And you see them on eBay and Gunbroker. They're averaging between $90 to $100, and you've got to make sure all the parts are there, all the instructions are there, and sometimes it's tricky. This is a new version, and I think a better version of the Lee loader, and everything pretty much fits right in here. And one thing I noticed is I wrote on the box, in case you don't happen to have, because with 410 you're really using like a ½ ounce of shot in most cases. A lot of your shot dippers don't go down that size. The Lee shot dipper, I think so far, is the smallest I've found, and that only goes down to 7/8 ounces, 7/8 ounces of shot, not a ½ ounce. So I translated it into grains, and that way I can weight on my regular scale with a regular powder measure or dipper or scoop like Lee does, and there you are. I don't have to worry about this. And of course, this is the grain. This is the load I've been using. I've used a few times, and I actually shot a few of them yesterday in 13 grains of 2400 powder. 2400 is an excellent 410 powder. But the entire kit comes right in here, and this pretty much is the center of it, is the loading block. And this is where you would put your 410 shells, resize them if need be, and decap them here. And then, of course, repriming them here. But this is also where you would load them later on. And it's fairly, the tools are, they're sturdy, very sturdy tools. And this is a simple measure. It also is a flaring tool. This does double duty as not only a measure, but helps flare out the shells so you can put the your shot cup in there, and then your wad. And this doubles as a decapper, but it also helps when you put your wad in. You can seat the wad, you can seat the shot cup. This is a Hornady style crimp tool. Crimping is the hardest part of this. You do need a hammer, and I can tell you, I first tried this little hammer here, because it's got the nylon end on it. This is too light. They recommend a 2 to 3 pound hammer, so I happen to have a 2-pound rubber mallet. This is perfect, but you will need a hard surface. And the only problem I have ever found with like the Lee loader tools, and like this tool is the same problem, is if you live in an apartment somewhere and you have neighbors, the banging. And that's the one thing the only thing I ever disliked about these types of kits, where you need a hammer. The last thing you want to do is 9 or 10 o'clock at night is start pounding and waking up the neighbors. That's the only drawback to these. Other than that, I don't see there's really too many issues. And the instructions are very well detailed. I'm not going to go through all this, because you can go to their website or YouTube, and you will find he has a very thorough, extremely thorough, much better than I could do it, video of how this all works. And they don't just do 410. I believe they also have 12 gauge, and I think they may have 20. Don't quote me on that. But you also can they sell these. These are little plastic vials, so you can have pre-loaded with powder and shot. So that way, you work a few of these up all together, you can get everything set, and you can just go through and load your shells. Now, like I said, the biggest issue is crimping. And a lot of people are going to complain, well, you can't get a good crimp on these. Oh, yes, you can. Now, the secret to your crimp is how your shot cup, your load, and your wad. Now, these are 1/4 inch overshot wads. I tear them in half, and I try to get around 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little less. And I can tell you, this is I've experimented with it, and I've shot them, and some of my crimps have come out better than others. This is not the greatest. It's functional, it'll work, but after playing around with it more, this is the crimp I've come up with. This is now the crimp that is not too, and this shell's been reloaded twice. This shell's on the second loading. And the other thing I do is I take a metallic marker and I write down, because this was originally a number 6 shell. When I bought it, it was a number 6, so I loaded these with 7.5s. But this is the crimp I've gotten. So if you take your time and once you get the wad thickness correct, you can get yourself a nice crimp like this. I mean, that's not perfect factory, but for hand tools, don't expect a good roll crimp. You cannot do a roll crimp on these without an electric tool. It's not going to work with a plastic shell. Paper shells, and these do load paper. These do load 3 inch. These are 2.5 inch because that's what I shoot, but they do load 3. And there you have it. It's not bad. And I bought 16 of these plastic vials with this kit, and with shipping, it was $74.90. That's still cheaper than any reloader I found out there used. And everything's good quality. And I can tell you right now, I mean, you see, besides the hammer and everything else, this does not take up a lot of room. And it's a nice kit. And for the cost of what 410 shells go for, I don't think you can beat this. And again, this is through the xringusa.com. I will put a link to their website in this. But for someone, if you're looking to just load 410, especially if you're only looking to load a few 410, most guys who shoot 410 don't go blowing through it all the time like skeet shooters. Usually most guys that shoot 410, it's a game load. But this is nice for guys with little single shot 410s, these little survival shotguns that are out there now. You know, if you shoot a few and you want something in your pack, like you're camping or something, you know, good thing if you have all of these, you know, camping. If you've got like a way to, I would not use a metal hammer on this, so that'd be this would be the biggest drawback, would be having to have a hammer. But other than that, it's a great little tool, and it's not expensive. It's not going to break the bank. It just gives you a little time, you know, to load your 410 shells or your other shotgun shells. I would check them out, and you can't go wrong with it. So, that being said, YouTube, have a good day.